Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
It's great to be here.
All right, so let's jump right into it. Ukraine, right? It's been the talk of the town. It's the talk of the world, really. Everyone's got opinions, everyone's got an angle.
Yeah,
It can be tough to filter through it all.
it really can.
So that's what we're here to do today. We're going to try to break down what we've been reading about this situation and hopefully bring some clarity to it all.
Exactly.
Because let me tell you, some of this stuff is pretty wild.
Definitely some surprises.
All right, so let's start with the big picture here. We've got this war raging on, right?
Yep.
And for the longest time, it seemed like the same old players were running the show. You know, the usual suspects.
Right.
But then things got really interesting when Trump entered the scene. It's like he flipped the script. Suddenly, he's the one everyone's watching.
Yeah, it's definitely shaken things up.
Big time. And the way he's going about it, it's not what anyone expected. Direct line to Putin, sidelining Zelensky, totally bypassing those European leaders. It's like he's saying, I'll handle this.
It's a bold approach.
Bold is an understatement. And you know what? It really highlights the difference in how everyone's approaching this. You've got Trump on one side, totally focused on ending the conflict, like let's get this done, whatever it takes.
Practical.
Very much so. And then on the other side, you got the EU, right?
Right.
All about making statements, condemning actions. Looks good on paper, but where's the action? Where's the real impact?
That's the question.
Exactly. And while they're busy with the optics, who's paying the price?
Well, Europe, financially speaking, is shouldering a lot of the burden.
Oof, yeah. It's a massive financial strain. We're talking billions and billions.
And it's trickling down. Cuts to social programs, tax hikes on the horizon. People are feeling it.
And here's the thing. Public support for the conflict. It's dwindling, especially in Europe.
People are getting tired of the cost, tired of the uncertainty.
But here's the kicker. You've got European leaders doubling down on their stance against Russia.
A real disconnect there between what the people want and what their leaders are doing.
It makes you think, right? Are they really acting in everyone's best interests?
It's a question worth pondering.
Okay, so we got Trump changing the game, Europe struggling to keep up, a real clash of approaches, a real power shift.
Yeah, and it's all happening against this backdrop of dwindling public support.
So where do we go from here? What does this mean for the future? Buckle up, because things are about to get really interesting.
It really makes you think this whole situation about power, and how the world works.
Yeah, totally. It's like we're watching those old power structures crumble right before our eyes.
And what's taking its place? It's not clear yet, but one thing's for sure, diplomacy, the way we used to do it, it's not working.
Right. It's like everyone's realized that the old rule book, kind of outdated.
Exactly. Sanctions, condemnations, all those strongly worded statements, they don't have the same bite anymore.
And then you've got someone like Trump who comes in, and he's not afraid to rip that rule book to shreds.
He's definitely playing a different game, and it's making a lot of people nervous.
Especially those European leaders, right? They're used to having a certain amount of influence.
They're used to being the ones calling the shots.
Exactly. But now, with Trump in the mix, it's like they've been sidelined, and they don't know how to react.
I mean, you can see it in how they're responding to him. It's almost like they're speaking different languages.
Totally. It's like Trump's over here cutting deals, trying to find a practical solution, any solution to end the fighting.
And the European leaders are more concerned with appearances, with maintaining a united front, with upholding international norms.
Yeah, and while they're busy with all that posturing, who's actually paying the price?
Europe, they're the one footing the bill for all this.
Billions and billions of dollars, right? And for what?
It's putting a huge strain on their economies, and people are starting to feel it.
Yeah, you can't just throw money at a problem like this and expect it to go away, especially when those at home are struggling.
Exactly. And that's where things start to get really interesting, because as the economic costs mount, public support for the conflict starts to dwindle.
Makes sense. People are tired of the sacrifices, tired of the uncertainty. They want to see results.
But here's the thing. Even though public support is waning, those European leaders, they're doubling down on their stance against Russia. It's like they're completely out of touch with what their people actually want.
It's a dangerous game they're playing, and it's not clear how it's going to end.
It's almost like watching a slow-motion train wreck, this whole U.S.-Europe relationship.
It's definitely strange. Like you could feel the tension, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you know what Trump's America First policy, it's not helping.
Yeah, it's like you're saying you're on your own, Europe.
Exactly. And that's a problem for Europe because let's face it, they've been relying on the U.S. for so long for security, for leadership.
Play a safety net, almost.
Yeah, and now that safety net's being pulled away.
And it's not just Europe feeling the heat, right?
Oh no, this has global implications, big time.
Other players are watching this unfold. Russia, China, they see an opportunity, a power vacuum opening up.
And they're ready to step in and fill it.
It's a dangerous game, this power struggle. And Europe's stuck right in the middle.
They're at a crossroads, really. Do they cling to that old partnership with the U.S.?
Or do they forge their own path?
Big questions, no easy answers.
It's a tough spot to be in. And whatever they choose, there's going to be consequences.
Yeah, there's no escaping that. And let's be real, Europe's not exactly known for its unity.
Right. All those different countries, different priorities, different visions.
It's going to take something pretty monumental to overcome all that.
But hey, maybe this is that moment. Maybe this is the push they need to finally get their act together.
Maybe. It's certainly a defining moment for Europe, for the world. It's like we're at the end of one chapter and no one knows what's coming next.
It's kind of exciting, right? In a nerve-wracking sort of way.
Oh, absolutely. And a little terrifying, if we're being honest.
Okay, so much to unpack here. But I think the big takeaway for me is that we're in uncharted territory.
Absolutely. The old rules, they don't apply anymore. We're writing a new chapter in history.
And it's up to us to make sure it's a good one.
That's right. We need to be informed, engaged, ready to challenge the status quo. That's why we do what we do.
It's all about empowering people, right? Giving them the knowledge to understand this crazy, complex world.
Exactly, because knowledge is power.
Well said. So to everyone listening, keep those minds sharp. Keep asking those tough questions.
That's right. Don't let anyone tell you what to think. Form your own opinions.
We're just here to provide the information, the tools. You build the house.
Love that analogy.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. It's been a wild ride, as always.
Always a pleasure diving deep with you.
And to everyone listening, be sure to subscribe to our podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
We are here to make things clear. 7812.